Hello and welcome to a Blender lesson on how to make low poly cars. And before we even start, I know a lot of people are going to say there's better ways to do this. I have my own way to do this, and that's fine. We all got to find our own ways to do things in life, and everybody's can be different, and that's completely fine. So to start, we are going to rescale things a little bit. So we just want to highlight this thing in the middle, our cube, hit local. No, that's the wrong one. Hit this up here, viewpoint, and we're going to change the scale there too to 0.1. Why this is important is because if you plan to import anything into Unreal, it's got to be scaled right, and you're going to run into issues if you don't right away just get it all right. So there we go, that's scaled right, but we are going to delete this anyways. And we're going to go ahead Shift A, which is a shortcut, and then we're going to hit cylinder, and then we're going to hit R90, which is going to put the axis in a quarter spin. Then we're going to go ahead and hit Y, and just ignore that, and that's gonna spin it to the red axis. So we'll zoom in a little bit, and we're gonna make this into our tire, and this is gonna be our first part of the lesson. I like to make a frame. You can just put 4 tires and spread them your distance if you want, if you're okay with that. It's completely up to you. So well clicked on it, we're gonna hit scale, and then we're going to go this way a little bit. We're going to zoom right in. So with it highlighted, we're going to hit Shift D. Shift D. And we're out here. Actually, we're going to undo that move. Put it in there. We're going to hit S. And we're going to shrink it down to where we think the rim would be on the tire. It doesn't have to be perfect. Rough estimate it. You can see the edges going over. You just want to be over. And hit Shift D again to copy it. We're going to hit the move to move it. So I'll drag it out slowly. We're going to need that because that's going to be our rim. This one we're going to do what's called a boolean, or a bool. I'm not exactly sure why it's called that, but it will take this shape out of the second shape. Now you have to be careful doing this. If you have a bunch of things joined to the shape, it'll erase them. So we'll just click off it. While this inside one is highlighted, hit Shift left click to highlight the second one. Object, down to bool tool. Now we're going to just hit difference, which is going to automatically apply it for us, but I'll show you what happens if we don't and we do it the other way. So it's going to do the same thing essentially. I'll go over here. It's going to show us this. It's going to give us more options. The other way, it's not going to ask you about anything of this stuff. It's just going to do it. There's no option to change it in the other one. This one I can change what we're actually boolean, or what the bool itself actually does. Okay, those aren't changing it. Anyways, this is what I wanted, so I'm going to go ahead and apply it. Now that I've applied it, I'm going to hit this box and I'm going to hit delete. But like I said, if you're sure what you want to do and you know you just want to punch a hole in it, you can definitely do it the other way and save yourself some time. So try to get that as even as possible in there. Looks pretty good. We'll shrink her down one more and it should be what we want, basically. Alright. So now we are going to switch to what's called edit mode. So we're going to click on the thing we want to edit, and then we're going to hit tab. Then we're going to go up to the top and we're going to select, okay, these are points, these are edges, and these our faces. Now if you hold your mouse there, it'll probably tell you. Yeah, the points they call vertex, but they're the points for you can do finer tuner adjustments. So in this mode, we're going to highlight both sides of the face. So just in case you're new, left click one side, shift left click the other side. Now they're both highlighted. So it should do exactly the same on both faces. We're going to hit I. Going to go like this, and we're going to guess where the edge of the rim's going to be. I'm going to say there. And now we're going to go ahead and make sure they're both highlighted again and do the same thing again. But we're going to go right into the middle. And we're going to highlight one side. We're going to go over here to move. And we're going to drag it in a little bit. We're going to go over the other side, and we're going to drag it in just a little tiny bit. So one side's definitely one more than the other. That's going to be outside of your tire. And the other side's going to be less. So you got the choices now at this point. You could join it together, and this could be your tire right here. We could go ahead and make this a bit better if that's what you would like to do. And there's a few ways we could do that, but personally I don't like the rim on the inside. So we're going to go back to the main. We're going to click on the rim. We're going to hit tab again, and I'm going to change this. What I'm doing, highlight 4, miss 4, highlight 4, and hopefully the math works out to evenly give us a rim. So now we're going to hit delete, choose faces. Kind of gives you an idea of how far we really are from the other side of the rim. So we're going to drag this in a little bit. Now we can really see which tire is which. Line it up as best as you can with the ones behind, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, we don't want that one in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I could have done this too. You can just, while holding shift, you can click on the middle again and take it off, and I'm still holding shift. 4, because if you want to highlight more than one thing, you got to push shift after the first thing you highlight. I'm going to delete this face. So now you see we've got a straight hole right through, right? And you're probably thinking, well, that's not what we'd like to have, is it, Mr. Lordfish? So we're going to change to edges. We're going to grab that first one. We're going to hold Control and hit left click on the edge of this. Going to go over here. We're going to push Shift, left click the first one. Then we're going to hit Control and click the bottom one. Now when we hit F, it's going to close that gap for us. So now we're going to click off of it. We're going to click this edge, and this edge, and we're going to hit F. And look at that. We've got the edge covered again there. So now over here, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to close up all these edges, doing the same thing over and over. So, you probably, I should have probably mentioned this much before. If you're having troubles moving around, there's two ways you can move around. You could hold in the middle button on your mouse and do this, and you're kind of free to move. Or you can grab this hand over here and it drags you straight up, down, whatever edge you want. Let go of it when you're done moving. And And we might just close this episode up after the first tire here. But let's get her looking good for everybody. On the back edges, we're going to grab that. We're going to control left click to go down there. Shift, left click, control, right click, or left click, sorry. And boom. And that closes that edge, right? Perfect. All of a sudden our tire is starting to look good. Let's do the same up here. That was just left click, and then control left click, then shift left click, and then control left click. And then we can grab this edge and this edge, and it'll actually make a better seal if we actually seal from all the edges. Alright, and now we're not having that flashback issue like down there. And our tire is looking pretty darn good, I gotta say. So let's go left click, control left click, shift left click, control left click, and F. And we filled it again. Then left, or just click, left click, and then shift left click, then shift left click, then F. Left click, shift left click, shift left click. Why you gotta left click without holding shift the first time is you want to let go of the old things you're holding on to. So again, left click, control left click, shift left click, control left click, and F. And as you see, fills the gap for us really good. We can move these points around too if we don't like what we have here. We can move the lines around if we want. It's kind of up to you and your amount of creativity you're willing to pour into it. And let's see, we are almost done our tire. I think we are finished our tire rim anyways. Or let's quickly see if we can do something with this tire. We don't want it to be quite so round. And just ignore that. I'm a popular feller. Okay, okay, sorry, I should tell you this. I'm going to click off this. I'm going to left click this. I'm going to hit tab. So now we're in this face, right? Gonna left click this. Nope. Okay, we gotta go up here, change to faces. Left click. Control left click. Control left click. Control left click. Control left click. And let's see what we can do with this. So I'm gonna hit Control and I'm gonna hit B. And as you see, we are creating a pattern on the tire right now. If we go too far, it's going to get all messed up and double face like that. But if we go just under that, go right like that, and it'll look pretty good, I think. Or we can go a little less than that, and we have more of a tread pattern in it, if that's what you're going for. And you're probably thinking, again, Mr. Lordfish, this is pretty flat. But you have several options you can do right now. We can grab the faces we want, and we can manually lift them up by hitting E. Making a tread pattern, and just choosing the level we want to go. We can hit Y, Z, X, and each one's going to choose a different axis. Or if you don't want to do this and you've changed your mind, you can hit right click. You can also go up here to undo and undo things you've just done. So what I'm going to go for, something completely different actually. Let's do this. Let's delete that face. So let's do faces. And you're probably thinking, this is insane, Lord Fish. What are you thinking? This won't work. Now you have holes in your tires. Well, sirs, I have a plan for this. What we're going to do, we're going to switch back to edges. Left click, shift 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 left click. Oh, I missed it. So shift left click to unclick that one, shift left click. Now we have the whole face there highlighted. We're going to hit F and see what happens. It looks like we have some good tracks there now that will look really good on our tires. So another way we could have done that a little quicker. Okay, click off that, left click, hold Control, left click, and then Control, left click. Really fast, right? Okay, now we're on our way to getting our tire done. Now you know what we're going to have to do to make a nice tire. Yes, it's a lot of work, right? Especially for a low poly car, you're probably thinking. But either you're committed to trying hard and making this, or you're not. Now you're probably thinking, well, I don't want to make that many tires either, Lord Fish. Okay, well, let's not make that many tires. Let's do a little trick instead. Well, let's click the outer one. Let's click the inner one. And we're going to hit Control J. Okay, now what has happened? Our tire, I know it's not complete, but our tire is done. I'm going to right click to let go of that move. Then I'm going to hit Shift D. And we have two tires now, right? We are going to go ahead and find, I'm sorry about that. Here we go. And we're going to figure out which rotation the tire's on. And we're going to hit 180. And now our tires are exactly the opposite. We're going to have to finish them before we do this. But just for an example of how we would duplicate tires to make all four. And you're thinking, well, Lord Fish, those aren't even. How do I keep them evenly spread apart? Drag one tire over this way. You're going to watch the location climb. So we're at 2.11, and you're thinking, I don't want to remember that, Lord. How do I match it on the other side? We go here, we do that, we hit a minus, and now we're on the other side. Now we just do our 180 spin. We have tires matching perfectly on the other side. Yes, the axes are turned backwards, but we can change that on export or import, so it's not really a big deal. Alright, so that'll close up tonight's lesson on tires, and maybe tomorrow we will cover how to actually make a car, a low pixel car. Thanks for watching if you're watching.